how to protect yourself online with SSA.gov, and Social Security is trying to keep up one step ahead from all the scammers out there. But I'm going to show you how to kind of protect yourself, your Social Security account, your checks, your all your benefits from Social Security. And this is a live broadcast. After we talk about today's topic should only take about 5 or 10 minutes, not very long. And then I'm going to open it up for any of your questions. So make sure, let's see if we already got people in chat there and asking questions on all things Social Security, retirement, survivor benefits, spouse benefits. Let's see how much money we can find for y'all today, you and your family. We're pretty much batting 1,000. We're always getting people more money, more benefits, and we're going to keep on keeping on. All right. So if you're watching this on a recording, make sure you subscribe and then come on back and let's make sure you're getting everything you are entitled to. All right, let's go ahead and get started here. If you don't know, my name is Ed Weir. I ran the third busiest Social Security office in the country, and in my semi-retirement, my new mission in life is to use all my decades of experience making sure y'all get what you're entitled to, what you paid into, what you're eligible for. All right, so we're going to talk about SSA.gov and setting up a My Social Security account. Social Security highly advises it, but they don't have the budget to go out there and advertise it and impress upon people as much as they should. So that's what I'm going to do here today. And the reason you do, all ages, please. So if you're currently on retirement, you definitely have to have one set up. If you're close to retirement, you definitely have to get one set up. But I'd like for you to impress upon everybody the importance of signing up for a My Social Security account, because I can tell you from personal experience that Social Security, the earnings record that Social Security has is not always correct. I just did a video on it a little while ago. It's the master earnings file. Basically, everybody that paid into Social Security going back to 1935 has a record with Social Security. And what happens is when you file your taxes, next year, January, February, March, April, whatever, send it to the IRS, and the IRS send it to Social Security. And somewhere along the line, something happens, somebody mistypes your Social Security number or whatever, and your earnings that you paid into FICA, paid into Social Security and Medicare, doesn't get to Social Security. IRS is supposed to notify Social Security, but somewhere along the line, it gets missed. And then those earnings don't get applied to you. And when you file for retirement next year, 10 years from now, 40 years from now, that's how they determine how much your benefit amount is, based on your high 35 years of earnings. Or if you're disability, they're based on your earnings. Spouse benefits are based on earnings. The surviving spouse benefits are based on earnings, how much you actually paid into Social Security. And if Social Security record is incorrect, that means you get an incorrect benefit amount. Your spouse gets an incorrect benefit. Your surviving spouse, your children get incorrect benefit amount for the rest of their lives. So it's extremely, extremely, extremely important that you go in there every year. Once tax season is over, you've got your check, or you got your money back, or you paid into it or whatever. A few weeks after that, make sure you go into Social Security, set up that account, and check to make sure everything reflects correctly. And if it doesn't, then come on back here and we'll walk you through the whole process of making sure your benefits are, how to correct those records. It's relatively easy if you catch it quickly. Get people on my live Q&A all the time that says, I'm retiring and I just went in there and I checked my record like you said, but it looks like in 1982 it shows 0, and there's a way to fix that. It's called a suspense file. The earnings are in limbo because somebody typed the Social Security number wrong, but if it's not there, then it's more difficult to fix. So it's important that you check on a regular basis. All right. So how do you set up a Social Security account? You just go into SSA.gov, set up a My Social Security account. And yes, it is extremely difficult and annoying to set up. And that's good. Social Security, the IT people back in Baltimore, they make it difficult for you to set up account because they're trying to stay one step ahead of the scammers. Somewhere in the world, someone is trying to go in there and pretend to be you and set up an account and change your direct deposit so their check goes to your, their bank instead of your bank, or change your address, or whatever the case may be, trying to cause problems. So Social Security IT people are always trying to stay one step ahead, and therefore they make it difficult for you to set up an account. But if you're able to set one up, that's awesome, because if you set one up yourself, you set up an account, it's much, much, much more difficult for someone else to pretend to be you to set up an account. Because when you go in there and set up an account, you put in your email address and your phone and everything like that. And if someone in the world decides to go in there and pretends to be you, and they type in the wrong password or something like that, you'll get an alert, and it'll say, hey, we notice you're trying to get in your account, and what's going on here. And then you can go in there and immediately change your password. But if Social Security doesn't have your email and your phone number and stuff like that, then someone's going to go in there and establish a new account. It's so much easier for someone in there to pretend to be you and set up another account. So it asks you all kinds of challenge questions. You put in your information in there, your address, and date of birth, but it also asks you some challenge questions like, did you ever live on this street or in this county? Did you ever have a mortgage with this particular company, or whatever the case may be? The kind of information that hopefully only you would know. And if most people are able to get in and set up an account, but if you're not able to, once they get all that information and they pass the challenge questions, they're able to get in there and set one up. But if for some reason you forget what street you used to live on, 10 or 20 years ago, whatever, and it denies you access, then you'll just have to call the 800 number, and they can usually reset it, and you can restart it and do it again. For really, you know, um, uh, kind of difficult cases, you'll actually have to go down to the local Social Security office. And we used to have people come down every now and then. Not too many. I ran the third busiest Social Security office in the country, and we probably had we had a couple thousand people every day, and we probably had a handful of people a week that would have to come down because they got completely kicked out. And at that time, we would need to see an ID to ID that person to get them set back up, because they really messed it up. But most of the time, you can go ahead and get it set up without that big of an issue. And again, why? Check your earnings record. And if you're currently receiving benefits and you need a 1099 for tax purposes or whatever, you need to change your address. You can get it through a My Social Security account. If you're about to file, or you're looking, planning for the future, please plan for the future. See how much your benefits would be at 62 or 67, see how much survivor benefits would be, how much spouse benefits would be, see how much you would receive if you went on disability. All of that you can check through your My Social Security account. And people often ask you, how accurate are those? They're fairly accurate. You'll never get a final number until you actually go down and take a claim, because Social Security projects forward based on your recent earnings. So if you're 55 years old and you go in there and you look at and say, okay, well, when I file at 62 or 67, here's how much a benefit amount would be. I'm 55 right now. How much would it be at 67? The Social Security system kind of estimates that you're going to continue working and make about the same amount you're making right now at 55. So they look at like 54 and 53, and they say, okay, you're making $60,000. So kind of rough estimate. We'll project forward that you're going to continue making that amount until you're 67, and that's your benefit amount. If all of a sudden you stop working for the next 10 years, then that benefit amount is going to be completely off. Or you make 2 or 3 times more in the future, then that benefit is going to be completely off. So take that into consideration. So it's not 100% accurate if you really change your income going forward. All right, so you can estimate future benefits. You can get a benefit verification letter online. You can get a new Medicare card. You can get a new Social Security card. Just a replacement. If you need to change your name or something like that, then you have to go down to the local office. But just a regular, I lost my card, I washed my card, I just need a replacement, a new card. Obviously the same Social Security number. You'll always have the same Social Security number, unless you're in like the witness protection plan or something like that. But you'll always have the same Social Security number. All right. So I kept it to under about 10 minutes. So that's the importance of setting up an account there. So please impress upon everybody you know, particularly young people, because they pretty much ignore Social Security and retirement because they're young and indestructible. They never plan on getting old, but it happens. You wake up one day and you're old. So make sure, tell them, hey, have you set up a Social Security account? And if you go in there to make sure your earnings record is correct, please tell them to do that. And that way they can also check, oh, that's how much I'll get when I retire, and all the rest of it. So, all right, let's go ahead and open it up for questions on anything Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid related, spouse benefits, disability, all the rest of it. Oh, right off the bat, Michael became a member, supported the channel. Thank you very much, Michael. Appreciate it. You guys are too awesome. I appreciate it. Jen, hello, hey, what's up? Hello from Myrtle Beach. All right, that is my line all the time. I cannot believe these demons are really messing with me with all the money and I deserve and I need. Not sure what. No question there. I just signed up for an advance account yesterday. They had to send me a letter with the passcode. It is not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Awesome. Good deal. Good deal. Yeah, it's a tough balance for the IT people, trying to make it as difficult as possible, but also as easy as possible. So it's kind of have your cake and eat it too, I guess, right? I get my deceased husband's Social Security. I can't check his earning accuracy because of the closed account upon his death. Yes, that's one of the difficult things. That's why it's important to check. Because a lot of when it goes into a surviving spouse or a divorced surviving spouse or whatever the case may be, you're not exactly sure all the time whether those earnings record are correct. But I mean, you can demand that earnings record, Freedom of Information Act. However, unless you actually have the tax returns and all that, even if you see something that doesn't look right, will you be able to fix it as, because you're not that person? You might not have those tax records. So that's the difficult part. So that's another reason people need to be preemptive and go in there and do it. All right. Let's see. I'm 60 and entitled to ex-spouse survivor benefits. Should I be concerned with that this is going away? I was going to wait until 62, but maybe I should. Yeah, no, as of, probably this is about that Supreme Court ruling that, Social Security is going to be, I'm going to talk about this, not tomorrow, the day after. I'm going to kind of revisit this. And we're going to do kind of a thought experiment on what the possibility is going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen, but everybody knows something is going to happen. And as I said yesterday during my live Q&A, that's guaranteed. And it's guaranteed that Social Security customer service is going to get a lot worse. And it's also guaranteed that I am going to be here helping y'all every step of the way. So there's that. So no, just don't plan on potential whatever. Just keep on keeping on for now. So, but in terms of survivor benefits, I mean, that's the only thing you can get at 60. So you might as well go and get that, if you're not working, not earning over the annual earnings limit, all the rest of it. So at 62, then that's when you can check out earnings on your benefits on your own record. But at 60, you can do your survivor benefits. So I would just keep on keeping on. Don't worry about the possibilities of the future. If it happens, it happens. But we'll talk about that in a couple of days. Something is, there are going to be, I think the first target of attack will be Medicare, all the pharmaceutical companies and health insurance companies. That's where all the big money is. And then Wall Street. But the high 35 is only W-2 earnings, right? No, in any, net income as well. If you're self-employed, get a 1099, then that counts there too. As long, once you get a 1099, that just starts the whole, IRS issue. Then you actually have to file the taxes. And because you're self-employed, you have to pay both sides of Social Security and Medicare. So yeah, the high 35 is self-employment as well. Savannah, I went into my account that I set up a long time ago and had to change the password, and it was actually quite a bit of simple process. Can I appreciate the security of awesome, good deal. Yeah, that's you know, that's what usually happens is people go in there and they set up their account and they don't mess with it for years because whatever. Um, and but then when you go back in there, you have to redo everything, change your password and stuff like that. So already have an account, but got a message that account type is changing. Why is that? Yeah, they're changing to this. Was it the same system they use for federal OPM, Office of Personnel Management? What do they call it? The ID? Yeah, the real ID, or I forget what this. I'm at a loss what the system is called right now. But yeah, they're again making it more difficult. They've had a lot of hackers recently, and a lot of stuff has happened. But I mean, so they're again trying to keep up, one step ahead of the scammers. But I got to give Social Security this. How many, knock on wood here. Credit report agencies, banks, supermarkets, all these people, all these companies that take your credit card information. How often do you hear that they lost your information, that someone stole millions of records of credit card numbers and phone numbers and your date of birth and stolen from this company and that company and this other company? You hear that on a regular basis, right? How often do you hear that from Social Security? That, oh, oops, someone came in there, somebody broke into Social Security and stole 10 million records of people. Yeah, you don't hear that from Social Security, again, knock on wood, because yeah, they're doing, I think, an excellent job in that regard. But private companies, they just don't treat your information as well as they should. So I guess they try for the cheap IT people. My boyfriend needs to talk with you about Social Security disability and divorce spouse benefit. He just turned 64. He was blown off a 58-foot floor of a high rise years ago. Holy cow. Has had 15 surgeries, needs help, needs some too. Yeah, I do 99% of my help is free through this, making all these videos and doing the live Q&As pretty much every day for the past 3 months. But I do, in order to, pay the bills, I do a one-on-one private phone call. So you can schedule that, but I charge for those to pay for everything else. So appreciate the support, and you get your personal question answered. Good time. Thank you. You're welcome. Does the age I take my benefit, whether off my own record or spousal, affect the widow's benefit claim at all? More specifically, if I draw a benefit 63 and my 70-year-old passes away before. Okay, so the time you take your own benefit doesn't affect benefits from a spouse, a current spouse, a divorced spouse, or a surviving spouse. What affects those is when you take those. So you can take your early retirement. I just talked to somebody yesterday. It's called a split strategy. So they were married. They're currently married, and she was the low wage earner, and he's going to wait for a few years. And they're like, well, if she files early, then her spouse benefit's going to be reduced. No, 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 no. She's only going to be reduced on her own account because she's going to start her own benefits. And then later on, 5 years later, she can switch, or she can add the spouse benefit, and the benefit won't be reduced because she'll be her full retirement age at that time. So her benefit is reduced on her own. But if you take the spouse, surviving spouse, divorced spouse benefit when you're full retirement age, there's no reduction on that. So no, yeah, a reduction on your own benefit amount will not affect the spouse benefit. What will affect the spouse benefit is when you take the spouse benefit. Bridget, thank you for doing this. Doctor, you're welcome. Thank you. Before I reach FRA, am I allowed to postpone claiming a widow's benefit until my FRA in order to maximize the benefit? Or does the fact I drew benefit, especially spouse benefit 63, auto reduce? Okay, so, all right. So I'm trying to, So I'm allowed to postpone claiming a widow's benefit. Yeah, you don't have to if you're currently on the spouse benefit, if you're currently on the record, it automatically switches to spouse benefits. There is a way to delay that. You just call up Social Security and say, "Hey, I'm going to work and make over the annual earnings limit, one over for every $2 over, and stuff like that." So, yeah, that's one way to stop it. That was my member account, Dr. Weir, I was referring to. Sorry. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right. So, all right. I can't get anyone to tell me if the food cards we see on YouTube are a scam. Okay. They're not a scam, but the way they advertise them are very, very scammy. All right. So there are food cards out there, grocery cards, help with your electricity, help with rent and stuff like that. They do exist. It depends on your particular area, and the ones with the most benefits are Medicare Advantage dual eligible. So those are for people that have Medicare and Medicaid, dual eligible, Medicare and Medicaid. And those are the ones with the most grocery cards and electricity assistance and dental and all this kind of stuff. Um, but what we've seen happen over the last few years, you get health insurance outfits, uh, agents and brokers that set up a Facebook account or something, and they advertise it, and it's one plan in one part of the country. So I always use where I went to high school, Paris, Texas. So let's say you've got one in Paris, Texas that gives you let's just $2,000 of a grocery card, right? So what happens is these Medicare insurance people, they advertise that to the entire country, even though it's only available to those people, the 25,148 people at small town in Paris, Texas. Um, but they advertise it to the whole country. And then someone in Miami or Portland or wherever clicks a little button, and the agent calls them up, and then calls them up and calls them up. That's, yeah, it's going to get a lot worse on that. But then they say, oh, okay, where do you live? Well, I live anywhere else other than Paris, Texas. And so, yeah, sorry, there's not available to you. But then they got you on the phone, they got your information, and they start doing the hard sell and all this other kind of stuff. So yeah, they are available, and they change every year. This is the big year, 2025. Well, it's still going to be the big year. It's even bigger now with the new Supreme Court ruling. It's the changes are going to be really hard to keep up with. But it was already planned. 2025 is going to be the big year because of a bunch of their catastrophic Part D went from 8,000 to 2,000. CMS is going to start paying Medicare insurance companies less. So there's a whole bunch of changes. So 2025 is going to be a big year. So if you have a Medicare Advantage plan and you haven't checked it in a year, 2 years, or 3 years, this October is the time to check it, because there's going to be massive changes. And just don't say, oh, it's still zero premium, I still got the doctor, I'm good. That's what insurance companies want you to do. Just to they don't want you to really check it, because as they say, the devil's in the details, right? So you need to check your plan. So if you don't have someone you know and trust to help you, email me and say, hey, Ed, put me on your list for October when the new plans come out. Check what I have with what's available in 2025 and make sure I'm getting all the money I can. And we can definitely do that. Bridget, need to talk to your people about my Medicare Advantage. Awesome. Yep. Send me an email and I'll have them reach out. All right. Carol Hill, why is that when I become qualified for something, the benefits changes to good to not as good or discontinued? I'm depending on IDS 50% at fraud come November. Not sure. IEDS, yeah. So yeah, she's talking about independently entitled divorced spouse. You get up to 50% minus your own. So that's just with all Social Security benefits, survivor benefits. If you're currently on your own record, you get the difference between your own and what you're entitled to. If you're entitled to spouse benefits or divorce benefits, you're entitled to that minus your own. So you don't get both of them. Unfortunately, a lot of people, yeah, I've, taken hundreds of thousands of survivor claims, and I've had to tell too many people that, let's say the husband passes away and he was receiving $2,000 and she was receiving 1,000. So total amount coming into the house was $3,000. He passes away and she hears that, well, I'm gonna get his check. Yes, minus your own. So she's entitled to 2,000, but she's already getting 1,000. So she'll continue to get her 1,000 technically, and add another 1,000. So for the check he got, so $2,000. So now the total coming into the house will be $2,000, not $3,000. Yeah, that's just with all programs. Let's see. Self-employed, turned 65 in October, want to wait till FRA. Make 100K. Will I Part B go up? If so, will it stay even after FRA? Is it based on year after 7? Okay, yeah. Part B goes up every year. So for everybody. So everybody that receives, Medicare, Part B, sometimes it, actually went down, right? One time. But yeah, Part B will, go up. But yeah, if you want to wait till your full retirement age and you have health insurance from work, then you do not have to sign up for Part A or Part B. You can just forget about it. And then once you stop working and stop receiving health insurance from that work, if your employer has 20 or more employees. So if it's based health insurance from your work or your spouse's work, then you don't have to sign up for Part B. You can just wait until you actually retire. Dr. Weir, is there a marker on the Social Security number of a permanent resident? If so, what is the impact of that and why? No, no, no. Yeah, well, there is, the first three numbers are usually, based on your states, mine is 26. And so that uh, yeah, I got mine when I was living in Florida. So that shows, if you're 26, you probably got yours in Florida. 57 is Hawaii and stuff like that. But if you do EOB, enumeration at the border, there's usually a different number to start with, but that has nothing to do with anything. So it doesn't affect anything at all. So no. But most people get, they get, foreign residents, they get it at the state they go to. So, but if you get it at the border when you come in through the whole paperwork, and then there's a different, prefix for the first three numbers. But yeah, it has no relevance to anything whatsoever. A Social Security number is a Social Security number. Last W-2 income was 2021 and waiting until 2025 FRA to file. Oh, earnings for 2020 to beyond, should my online estimate be correct? Yeah, again, your current one, if you checked it today and it recognizes that you didn't have earnings last year and 2 years ago, whatever the case may be, yeah, pretty correct. Again, it's not perfect. You won't get a perfect number until you actually file a claim. Taken took. Remember to vote the video up, folks, in the description under the main video. Don't just post in the chat. Make sure you do the thumbs up. Yes, please. This is how we get the information out there and to people and get help they need. Dr. Weir, with all the 2025 changes coming, would you recommend that I take my Social Security benefit age 69 as opposed to waiting until 2020, 26 when I turn 70? No, if you were intending on waiting until 70, then yeah, I wouldn't, make any changes now. Because again, we don't know what's going to happen. We know, yeah, nobody knows. Nobody can tell you what happened. But as I said, I can guarantee you that there is going to stuff that's going to be happening. Wall Street has been chomping at the bit to get Social Security for, they've tried to privatize Social Security outright. That didn't work several times. And yeah, so they've come up with a new plan of attack. But I just said, keep on keeping on. If your plan was to retire at 70, just keep with your plan. Unless but plans change. Right? Life is what happens while you're making other plans. Looking to retire abroad with wife who has pre-existing illness. Wife sick requires daily meds. Have Medicare Part A, B, Supplement Part N, Part D. Is it better to bring 6 months supply of meds with us? Yeah. Or yeah, I'm not. I'm a doctor, but not that kind of a doctor. Hit those likes, right? Yes, please. A team looking out for me out there. On Just Survivors benefits, want to quit my 1K a year, nothing job. Do I need to spend lots of time on the phone with SSA to report it? Want to quit my $1,000 a year, nothing. No, no, you're no, you're good. You're definitely under the $22,320, so you don't need to report anything. You are good. All right, Janet. Hey, Dr. Weir, try and make this short. I am a senior with very low income. Uh, you need to find an appointment soon. What should I do? Thank you. Need to find an appointment soon. What kind of appointment are you looking for? Appointment at Social Security, file for benefits, possibly. Yeah, just call up. Yeah, call the 800 number, schedule an appointment. Very low income. Make sure you check out my videos. I did 4 videos on living on Social Security alone. There's a bunch of programs there. I'm going to update that this week. I apologize. The introduction to that was terrible. It was way, way too long and boring, so just skip it. But I'm going to do a new one this week on living on Social Security alone. So I'll post it probably later this week, and it'll be a lot quicker. Not as much details and information, but it'll be quick. People like quick. I just been approved for SSDI. Awesome. Work injury a year ago. I'm getting long-term disability and workers' comp. Long-term deducts from short-term. With SSDI, what do I need to do? Don't believe I can get all 3. It really depends. So if it's a public disability type thing, yeah, you need to, it depends what type of benefits those are. But when you file for disability, the Social Security employee should have asked you whether you're receiving, public disability benefits, workers' comp type stuff. But it really depends on what type of workers' comp it is. And that might offset your Social Security disability insurance. And make sure you tell them that, because quite a few people don't tell Social Security, and because it's a public disability benefit, the system will eventually talk to Social Security and say, "Hey, this person has been receiving X amount of money," and then you'll have a very, very, very big overpayment in the future. So, oh, you're looking for an apartment? Oh, okay, you're looking for an apartment. Yeah. Um, I would definitely check out. Was about a few weeks ago, the federal government released some money to the states to help with affordable housing. That's the big issue in this country is affordable housing and healthcare. And so if you applied for any type of assistance before from the state or county or city or whatever the case may be, and they just said, "Hey, we don't, the wait list is 18 years and we have nothing," contact those places again. And because they just got the money and it's probably funneled down to the particular states and everything now, and they just might have something, they say, "Wow, it's a good thing you just called, because here's something available right now. We just got a budget, and so you're the first one to call." And so yes, reach out to those people, and good luck. Yeah, we really got to do something on affordable housing. So all right, let's see. I'm 59, haven't worked since 2017. Will it be hard for me to draw SSDI? Yes, unless you were disabled many years ago. Because Social Security has insured status for Social Security disability insurance. That means you actually paid into Social Security for 10 years, so you're insured. And then they also have what's called currently insured. They had to pay 5 of the last 10 years. So you might, yeah, you might be, well, actually, yeah, 2017. So if you worked, yeah, so you might be good. Depends on when your disability began. So I would apply. And then there's also SSI, which is Supplemental Security Income. When you file for Social Security benefits, they take both claims. They take, they're supposed to address both programs, as Social Security employees call it. They take SSI claim and an SSDI claim. And if are going to make too much on the SSDI, they deny your SSI because that's a welfare-based program. But yes, please apply. And you might be good depending on when your disability began and everything. Does my income affect my security? Social Security, we're talking just like retirement benefits. Yeah, if you're receiving your benefits early, your early retirement or early spouse or early surviving spouse, then yes, you have to stay under the annual earnings limit, which is the $22,320. Anything over that, Social Security will hold back $1 for every $2 you go over. Let's see here. What else? Was on food stamp, mistakenly put not on it since over 2 years. I own 2 properties. I am on disability. Yeah, you've got 2 properties, so that'll definitely make you ineligible for any type of welfare-based benefit. Usually one, almost everybody exempts 1 house and 1 car because you got to live somewhere and you got to be able to drive to doctor's appointments. Do you know how long does it take Social Security to process an application for retirement benefits? I've only done it a few 100,000 times. So if you got all your proofs, I've taken hundreds of thousands of retirement applications. If you're have an appointment on the phone or something like that and everything is good, your date of birth is correct and your earnings are correct and nothing needs to be done, by the time the person hangs up the phone, they've already adjudicated and approved the claim. So I've done a few 100,000 of those. Those are super, super simple. 66 years old, wants me to repay money they overpaid. Well, I need a lawyer. Yeah, a lawyer's not going to take it unless you pay them a lot of money, which kind of defeats the whole purpose. Social Security, watch my videos on the new overpayment thing, new overpayment policies. Watch those videos. But long story short, they made it a lot easier to do. If you completely disagree with a decision, appeal the decision, and you can do that through a SSA 561. You can get it waived through a SSA 632. So the form is 561 or 632, and or do both of them. And at the very least, set up a payment plan. The longest you can do is 60 months. And they just changed that and made it easier to set up a 60-month, 5-year payment plan. But yeah, lawyers don't. I've never heard of a lawyer taking an overpayment case. Again, if you pay them $10,000, they'll do anything you want. Was getting Part B paid. Now they say Florida won't pay. I'm on disability. Do you know why they stopped? Yeah, you were kicked off Medicaid. And they're doing that across the country. What happened is during the pandemic, the federal government said, no more kicking people off Medicaid during the pandemic. Last year, when the pandemic ended, government said, okay, now you can start, essentially kicking people off that shouldn't be receiving that help. So looks like Florida. However, be careful. Before I worked at Social Security, I worked for the Department of Social Services doing Medicaid and food stamps. And they make mistakes too. So if they kicked you off because of your resources, if you hit the lottery, you hit $1 million lottery, then yeah, you lost. You're done. Yeah, you're not getting that back. But if nothing like that has happened and everything is still the same and you still need that help, then reach out to them and say, hey, wait a second. No, I think you're incorrect. I think I still need this. But if that's not the situation where you actually are not going to get it. Another issue is people miss is when you lose that Medicare Part B help from the state. It's called the Medicare Savings Program. When you lose that, you're also going to lose your Medicare Advantage dual eligible plan. And it's important that you switch to another plan. You don't have to wait till October. You can do that now. So you have to switch to a regular plan, because if you don't, then something happens next month and you have to go to the emergency room or the doctors. You'll go in there and all of a sudden they'll send you a bill because they said, yeah, your plan is expired. Yeah, that finished last month. You should have switched to another plan. So get with your insurance broker or agent. If you don't have anybody, reach out to me, send me an email and say, hey, I just lost my Medicaid. I need a regular plan. And tell me your state phone number and I'll have somebody reach out to you and help you out. Can I retire at the age of 55? Yes, absolutely. Can't receive Social Security until you're 62, though. Started getting Social survivor benefits as a disabled adult child at 18. Figured out my bills. I can't even rent. Is there any way to readjust or further entitlement? Um, yeah, no, that's you're getting survivor benefits, disabled adult child off of your parents. So there's no way that's going to change. It'll get your COLA and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, you're getting 75% of that primary insurance amount from your parent. Um, and watch my videos on living on Social Security alone. There's a bunch of programs in there. You probably have Medicare. If you get Medicaid, check with Medicaid. As I was just talking to the previous person about Medicaid, they might pay for your Part B premium, and then you can get a Medicare Advantage dual eligible plan and see if you can get some more benefits. And hopefully they have one of those grocery cards in your area that help you pay the rent and electricity and all that kind of good stuff. All right, I'm 63. I wasn't offered Medicaid A, or you mean Medicare A. What do I have to do? Medicare, Medicaid B, I have to wait till 65. Yes. Yes, for Medicare, it starts at 65 unless you're receiving disability. If you're receiving disability, your Medicare starts 2 years after being on disability. The way you avoid long wait lists for affordable housing is to check new construction. Okay, yeah, you made this remark before, the suggestion before, and yes, I appreciate it. We need to, get the more information out there because probably everybody watching today is completely different than, yeah. All right, I'm going to read this in total. The way to avoid long wait lists for affordable housing is to check new construction. New construction on the city you're interested in website and property management companies in that cities. Yeah, so some cities they say, okay, hey, you're going to build, these, a bunch of apartments, and X amount of those apartments has to be affordable housing type situation. So good recommendation, Feminim. So thank you for yes, reminding us of that on a regular basis. I appreciate it. If you're self-employed, does Social Security look at earnings before or after taxes? They look at net income. Yep. So if you make $100,000 of net income, they look at $100,000, and then that's net income, but it's before the taxes. Yes, before taxes. Follow up. Did report both to Social Security Disability. Is SSDI taxable, and can taxes automatically deducted from SSDI like I have a long-term taxes auto deducted for workers' comp? Yeah, I don't do taxes, just too many variables. But yes, you can have taxes withheld. That's another thing the new Social Security Commissioner did, is he made it easier to do that, it sounds like. I haven't had anybody do it yet to see whether it actually is easier, but it sounds easier. You can do what's called a voluntary tax withholding. It used to be a W-4V, little slip of paper where you can say, yeah, hey, take 7, 10, 15% out of my Social Security, check every month and send it to my friends at the IRS. From what I heard is, I haven't tried this yet, is you can call Social Security, the 800 number, and you can do it over the phone now. So if anybody has done it, please let me know. And yeah, I'd like to know if the system is working so I can recommend it. Last week, I asked you, what does CMS stand for on my doctor's summary? It showed some of my chronic diseases. CMS stands for Center Medicare and Medicaid. Yes, Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services. I'll have to ask why CMS needs to, yeah. Yeah, it's always kind of strange. CMS, there's only one M in there, but there's Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services. So yeah. In New York City, affordable is not affordable for affordable housing and new construction. Yeah, I could imagine New York City. Wow. My ex-husband and I have current full custody of my grandson, and he lives with us. If my ex-husband dies, can I claim death benefits for my grandson? Yes, if my ex-husband, no, no, only if your grandson's father, if one of your grandson's parents one of your grandson's parents passes away, then you collect survivor benefits. But the only way, yeah, not even your ex-husband, unless that they have to adopt, basically. Or the only way grandparents can get benefits authors is if they adopt that grandson, or the grandson's parents are both um, either disabled or deceased. So, all right. I'm 59 and applied for SSDI due to several disabilities. Does my retirement from state employment weigh on an approval? Not an approval, no. Um, it might affect your benefit amount if you didn't pay into Social Security at that state. So some state positions, government positions, don't pay into Social Security. They don't participate in the Social Security system. If yours does, then nothing. Yeah, no issues whatsoever. Would work stoppage allow me to escape IRMA? Yes, yes. So if your IRMA, your extra Part B premium, which is you know decided by your earnings 2 years ago, if since 2 years ago you have stopped working, you have a life changing event, and you just fill out a SSA 44 and say, yeah, I made $1 billion 2 years ago, but I stopped working 6 months ago, a year ago, and I'm not making $1 billion anymore. And an SSA 44, and they will fix it, no problem. Easy, easy, easy. If you're making $1 billion, make sure you can support us, like eTruth, $4.99. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Lemon character taking his sunglasses off and raising his arm to greet someone. Okay. All right. I appreciate it. Turning 65. Okay. Here's eTruth. Thank you for the support. Self-employed will begin Medicare Part A and B, and we'll get a Sup M. There we go. I like it. That's my favorite one because I'm cheap and I like saving money. And Part D, is there anything else I need? Geez, I hope not. We should all get together and give you and your wife a vacation. Thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, you're good. The only other thing some people, is some people do, some people don't get a dental and vision plan, dental, vision, hearing, or so. But that's so it's good for some people not so much. So, but yeah, you're good. So the only thing you have to do, because you have a Medicare supplement, and that Medicare supplement will stay the same, forever. Medicare supplement is a Medicare supplement. It doesn't change every year like a Medicare Advantage. But the Part D one does. That changes every year, and there's going to be a lot of people that are surprised in October, because their Part D plan, they've been paying. There's a company out there that offered a Part D plan for zero premium this year, or 50 cents or $1 a month premium. And we have heard through the grapevine that, yeah, it's not going to be that next year. It's going to be way, 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 way more. So yeah, you have to keep up on your Part D plan. And because you're signed up with a Part D plan, probably with a different company, or even with the same company, Medicare insurance companies, they make more money with Medicare Advantage, and based on the Supreme Court ruling, they're going to make a whole lot more. I can pretty much guarantee that, because there's no more regulation. They're gonna be able to pick their own judges, and the foxes in the hen house type thing. But even now, even this year, last year, 2 years ago, here's how it worked. When you sign up for Part D, usually with a different company, a different health insurance company, you are their customer, so they have the right to call you. So it's not cold calling. It's not illegal to call you, because they're your customer, even though that is going to end too, because telemarketers, they're going to hire a lawyer and find a judge to say, hey, it's free speech. We can call people $1,000 times a day, and it's free speech. So yeah, get ready for that. But if you have Part D, then they have authorization to call you, and they will want to switch you to a Medicare Advantage plan because they make so much money, more money. than a Medicare supplement plan. So watch out. Just be, be cautious of somebody calling you up and say, hey, oh yeah, we've got this new plan in your area at zero premium. We know you're paying, $80, $100 now for your Part N, and this new one's got dental and it's got, vision, and it's got gym membership and all this other kind of stuff. And hey, why don't we go ahead and switch you over to that? And then one day you wake up and you're in a Medicare Advantage plan, and with pre-authorizations, and pre-authorizations are going to get a lot worse too. Oh my gosh, it's going to be an interesting decade. To those doesn't know, if you are receiving SSI and owe student loan, contact your student loan company. Yes, 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 student loan discharge. But yeah, it looks like the Supreme Court is, it might not be the Supreme Court. Another federal district court is trying to put a stop to that. Banks, want their money back. And so, yeah. Ed, seniors can call HUD and ask about a program, Section 202, 62 years old and older, supportive programs for low-income seniors. Perfect. Great. Awesome. There we go. Let me repeat that. Call HUD, the Housing and Urban Development, started in the 1960s, and ask about a program called Section 202 if you're 62 years and older. So more great information out there. This is what I like. Community helping everybody else out. Or it could be 60 and older or something like that. Okay, yeah. So if you're a senior, then yes, call them up. And veterans, people with people with families. Those are usually easier to get housing if you've got children yourself. So to make a long story short, people that live on Social Security alone will not even be able to afford to eat after paying for for insurance, right? Yeah, a lot of people are in that situation now, unfortunately. Yeah. So how can I get my deceased military husband's high 35-year earnings? SSA said no. He passed away in 96, didn't file 96 taxes or receive the 255. I need to know if I'm receiving full benefits. And FRA. Yeah, they, you can request a Freedom of Information Act. You can go online, just type in FOIA request, FOIA, and put in the request. Yeah, they should make it easier. If you're filing on that benefit and you prove that you were married to the person when they passed and all that kind of good stuff, yeah, it shouldn't be an issue. How should I prepare for my son's interview for reviewing benefits? I'm his representative. Yeah, just get your, yeah. Not sure what reviewing benefits are. Probably not a medical CDR, because they put a stop to that until the end of the fiscal year. So they're not going to start those again in October, it sounds like. So is this a work CDR, or is this just a regular SSI RZ, which is called a kind of kind of a 6-month or kind of a review of your SSI to see if, he won, the big lottery or something like that. No, you just, they'll just ask you questions, and if they want proofs, they'll tell you exactly what you need. So, salesman tried to sell me a catastrophic coverage policy in addition to Plan G and D. Was that extra coverage necessary? No. Because catastrophic, because Plan G, if you have Plan G and you have $1 million surgery, or some type of procedure that cost $1 million, $10 million, how much do you pay? A couple $100. And so I don't see what, yeah. So that makes no sense whatsoever. If you have a Medicare Advantage, sometimes it depends on your particular area, the particular plan, then those hospital indemnity, where they cover some of your hospital, if you're in an area, the best one they have is, they still charge, $300 or $400 or $500 a night for a hospital. That might be a good idea, to get a hospital indemnity where it covers some of your hospital. If you have a family history of cancer, it might be a good idea to get a cancer plan if you have a Medicare Advantage plan. But if you have a Medicare supplement plan, nope, you are 100% good. Let's see. Folks, this guy works for the government. Run. Well, I retired a few years ago. Well, I guess they always say once a Marine, always a Marine. So I guess I'm still a Marine. So I got my cup and everything. So can't get Medicare until 65. If you retire before then, buy insurance on Obamacare. Yes, that's the other alternative is Obamacare, Affordable Care Act, Marketplace, whatever. Yep. Granddaughter is 3. She has level 2 nonverbal autism. Would she be able to receive SSDI? I would definitely apply. Yes, please apply. Go online, or probably the best thing is do a schedule an appointment. Call the 800 number, schedule an appointment, probably a phone appointment, and somebody from your local office will call you at that time and do everything. And watch my video, my 4 videos on disability, filing for disability. Gives you all kinds of inside tips, tricks, and secrets. Mom denied Part B for failure to pay on bad advice. Now disabled and needs Medicare. Yeah. Yeah. People, I'm not sick, so I'm just not going to get Part B. And then, life is what happens when you're paying, yeah. But yeah, bad advice. So she can sign up for Part B, but she has to wait until the general enrollment period, January, February, and March. So the sooner she can enroll is in January, and her Part B will start February 1st. They changed the law a few years ago. Used to, if you did it anytime during that time, it would start July 1st. They changed the law, and now it's the month after, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Good job on them changing that. And then, yeah, unfortunately, she'll be charged the 10% for every 12 months she did not have Part B. However, if she is in low income, really low resources, call up your state's Medicaid office, and they don't get charged for penalties like that. And they might be able to set her up with Medicaid. And so you might be good with just Medicaid. And then they might even pay for your Part B and get you set up with Part B. So I would definitely check that out. What an SSA 44 form. That is for a life-changing event for IRMA. That IRMA is the extra premium high wage earners pay. Extra premium. So everybody pays $174.70. But if you made a lot of money a couple of years ago, you're probably going to pay $300, $400, $500, $600 for your Part B premium. And does it take an application longer if you apply to Social Security retirement online? Yeah, that's kind of a crapshoot. It really depends in your particular area, internally at Social Security, how they run those. So yeah, it's yeah. But if you want an appointment, then if you call the 800 number, schedule an appointment, you probably won't get your appointment for a month or 2 anyway. But if you do it online, yeah, so it might actually be the same amount of time, but you're not going to lose any benefits. If you're filing for retirement, you're not going to lose any benefits. If you file today and it takes them 2 months to do, you're going to get your benefits. If you're entitled this month, you're going to get this month's benefits. So however long they take it, you'll get your benefits, everything. So nice to have your check when you want it, but hey. Will Medicare cover a medical eye issue from a chronic disease? My health insurance company covers. Yeah, it really depends. If it's an actual disease type stuff, Medicare doesn't cover, it doesn't cover, dental, vision, and hearing, which is, I did a video a few weeks ago and said, okay, if I was a dictator for a day, what would I do? And I think the first thing I said was I would add dental, vision, and hearing to Medicare, original Medicare. But yeah, if it's, just glasses or you need tooth cleanings, then yeah, Medicare doesn't cover it. But if you have a chronic disease, doesn't matter where it is, then Medicare usually covers it. And you can go on to Medicare.gov and you can actually download they have a pretty cool little application um, that yeah, it looks like this. Medicare.gov. Medicare.gov. It's a little app that you can put on your phone, and it says what's covered, and you type in anything in there, and it'll tell you what's covered and what's not, and what to watch out for and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a pretty awesome little application they got going there. So, well, I think that's the plan, to make it harder to get good health here. Yeah, it's very difficult. Yeah, it's all over the place. All right, let's see what else we got here. We're in over an hour, so let me do one or two more questions from people that I think have never asked a question. Oh, we got one from Facebook. Um, Bobby, what's up, Bobby? I'll be 67 soon, still working full time. Should I start collecting my Social Security? Yeah, completely on you. But um, yeah, the only other option is to get those delayed retirement credits. You get 8% every year. You wait until 70, and it's you don't have to wait a whole year. Then you'll just, if you wait a few months, it'll just be 8% divided by 12. Was it 2/3 of 1% or whatever? But yeah, your benefits will continue to go up until you hit 70, because right now your work doesn't affect your benefits in terms of nothing is withheld. So you can continue to work, make all the money you want, and collect your Social Security benefits. And there is no $1 for every $2 you go over, or anything like that. So you can continue to work and collect your Social Security benefit, or you can continue to work and wait till you're 70 to get that other, the other 24% increase of your benefit amount. But you have to take into consideration your health, and oh, well, I can go ahead and get that extra money now and pay off this, pay off the mortgage and pay off this, or I can take a vacation. Or your longevity of your family you need to take into consideration. So yeah, I would definitely check out those. But and you have health insurance from work, so hopefully you didn't sign up for Part B. If you have health insurance from current work and you're happy with it, once you do file for benefit, or once you stop working and stop receiving health insurance for work, then sign up for Part B. Save yourself that money. All right, let's do two more questions. I don't think I've seen Pixie, and she's got a hippie mark on there. All right. You can tell I'm a hippie too, right? I love my Volkswagen buses. What documents are needed for me, age 64, to become my son's SSDI payee? He is 45. He wants to change it to me. Yep. Yeah, that shouldn't be an issue. If he's been taking care of it himself all the way up until now, then you just might need a quick little note from his primary care physician that says, yeah, he's having a tough time doing it, and we want to relieve stress. So it'd be best for his mother to go ahead and take it, and then that's it. And you just give that to you have to go down, file a representative payee application, super quick. I've done millions of those. And you just show them the letter, and you're done. Easy. All right, let's see. Oh, let's see here. Help, please. My disabled daughter owes thousands of overpayment. SSI says it's because my wife co-signed for my son to get his first checking account. Now she gets nothing. Yeah, watch my video on overpayments. I go into more detail, but yeah, dispute it. A 561 or a 632 or both. The 561, they're supposed to be changing and making it easier. Even Social Security employees don't know what the difference is, the nuances between a SSA 561, a request for reconsideration, and a SSA 632, which is a waiver request. And so, yeah, they get it messed up all the time. But yeah, dispute it. Said, no, there is no overpayment. Two things have to be met, though. It's not that person's fault that the overpayment happened, and they can't afford to repay it. If those two things are met, then the overpayment will be waived. So watch my videos for a more lengthy discussion, and yeah, fight it. And if I give you a hard time, make sure you come back here, and yep, we will walk you through the rest of it. Oh, Feminim, Section 202, project-based vouchers for a particular building is called low-income housing. And if a person qualifies, they only pay a third of their income as rent. All right. So Section 202, project-based vouchers. Awesome. Perfect. Good information. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. That'll do it for today. I will be back again tomorrow. Yeah, same time tomorrow. So if I didn't get to your questions, I apologize, but I will be back again tomorrow. So join me first thing, put your questions at the top, and I guarantee I will.